In the name of Allah, the one who fashioned the stars and set them upon perfect courses, I am Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Jābir ibn Sinan al-Battani. In your books I am called al-Battani, in Latin Albategnius, and sometimes the Ptolemy of the Arabs. But know this, I never sought to become the successor of another man. I sought to become a servant of truth, and the universe itself was my teacher. My childhood was not filled with palaces or libraries, but with the night sky. I was born near Haran, a land whose skies were clear, where the constellations stretched endlessly across the desert horizon. I remember nights as a young boy lying on warm sands, watching Orion rise with the precision of a clock, the moon shifting through phases like an ancient calendar, and Mars glowing with a stubborn red fire even before I could read. The heavens were reading themselves to me. My father was an instrument maker. I grew up surrounded by astrolabes, celestial globes, armillary, spheres, and the whispers of scholars who visited his workshop. I learned early that the world is full of opinions, but the sky is full of certainty. I built my observatory not for glory, but for accuracy. In Raqqa, on the banks of the Euphrates, I established one of the most precise observational stations of my era. Here, night after night, I aligned my instruments, sometimes with fingers numb from the cold, sometimes fighting the desert winds, but always with unwavering determination. I improved the sighting tube, strengthened the sundial, refined the quadrant, and perfected the azimuth circle. Every measurement I recorded was repeated again and again until error bent its knee to certainty. White medium star, the length of the year, was my first great triumph. Ptolemy's calculation of the solar year was admirable, but something lingered, an inconsistency. So I watched the sun's journey across solstices and equinoxes for more than 40 years. Finally, I measured the year as 365 days, 5 hours, 46 minutes, 24 seconds, a value so precise that even with your modern instruments I stand only a handful of seconds away. This was not pride. It was a revelation, because with this measurement came the ability to regulate agriculture, organize calendars, guide religious observances, refine navigation, predict celestial events with greater precision. The year was no longer a guess. It was a measured truth, white medium star. But I wanted more than to measure the sun. I wanted to understand the language of the heavens. And so I turned to mathematics, where earlier astronomers used Ptolemy's chord tables. I introduced functions of greater power, heavy checkmark sine, heavy checkmark cosine, heavy checkmark tangent. I created the first tangent tables in human history, with values computed at half-degree intervals, something unheard of before my time. Why tangent? Because it allowed a new way to solve astronomical problems, cleaner, faster, more elegant, and more reliable. My tables laid the foundation for the trigonometry that fuels your engineers, physicists, and navigators. White medium star, the moon and the sun became my lifelong companions. I carefully traced the variation of the moon's apparent speed, the inequality in the sun's motion, the shift in the apogee of the sun, the true inclination of the Earth's axis, the changing distance between Earth and sun, the exact timing of solar and lunar eclipses. I realized that the sun does not move uniformly and that Ptolemy's values were off, sometimes slightly, sometimes significantly. I measured and corrected them. Centuries later, when Copernicus began revising the structure of the cosmos, he consulted my tables and cited my corrections within his monumental work, White Medium Star. The Zij al-Sabi was the vessel of my life's labor. This book, crafted with care, polished with observation, refined with mathematics, contained star catalogs, planetary tables, solar and lunar models, eclipse predictions, refined trigonometric principles, corrections to Ptolemy 489, precisely measured stars, methods for determining longitude and latitude, innovations in astronomical instrumentation for centuries across Europe and the Islamic world. My Zij became a cornerstone for astronomers. It was copied, expanded, translated, and taught from Damascus to Toledo, from Baghdad to Bologna. Even when my name faded, my numbers continued to guide the astronomers who inherited them. White medium star, but do not mistake me for a dreamer gazing at stars. I was a mathematician, a physicist, a geometrician, a maker of instruments, and a scholar of relentless precision. Some said I corrected Ptolemy. Some said I surpassed him. But I say only this: I listened more carefully to the universe. White medium star, if you remember me today, remember me for my devotion to truth. The heavens do not lie. They reward those who are patient, who repeat their measurements, who doubt their assumptions, who seek with humility and verify with discipline. If my work lives today, it is not because I was extraordinary, but because the universe is extraordinary, and I had the honor of measuring it. I am Al-Battani, and the stars were my lifelong companions.